The term limnology is derived from Greek word. Limn means lake. The term limnology was coined by François Alphonse Farel. August Thienman and Einar Naumann co-founded the International Society of Limnology. Welch 1935 described about biological productivity. Aerology is defined as branch of science deals with terrestrial habitats. Peter Erasmus Müller is credited with laying the foundation stone of limnological study. Anton Fritsch could be considered as the pioneer in lacustrine limnology. F. Simoni, 1850, is regarded sometimes as the founder of limnology for his discovery of thermal stratification. Jung and Forbes, who were the first to treat the native waters as microcosm. Garter and Gran made a pioneering attempts measuring the photoautotrophic production. Direct method of carbon assimilation, Steeman Nielsen, 1952. Energy transport along the food chain, Lindemann, 1942. New direction to limnology, Cook, 1977. Deep water fauna of Lake Michigan, Stimson. Limnoplankton, plankton of lakes. Helioplankton, plankton of ponds. Potamoplankton, plankton of rivers. Standing waters, lentic waters. Flowing waters, lotic waters. Aestival pond, waters persists in these ponds throughout the season but it freezes in winter. Lake Baikal, excess of 400 m to 1620 m deepest lake. Caspian Sea, 436400, Great Salt Lake. The estimated total of these large lakes, 179,000 square kilometers, constitute 75% of the total inland surface water of the world. Carpenter 1928 formulated the true difference between lake and pond according to the depth. Fluvial lake, it is formed by the river activity. Aeolian lakes, formed by the wind activity in arid regions. Young lakes are called as oligotrophic lakes. Shallow and phosphorus lakes are called as eutrophic lakes. Humus-rich soil is called as eutrophic. Dystrophic lake, rich and sallow in nature. Dal Lake, Himachal Pradesh. Rupkund Lake, known for shallow waters. Pushkar Lake, artificial lake in Rajasthan. Osman Sagar Lake, popularly known as Gandhapet. Bathymetry, contour map. Pure water weighs about 62.4 pounds per CUFT at 4C. Water is virtually incompressible. The coefficient of compressibility is given for atmosphere 52.5 x 10 to 6 at 0 OC for 125 atmospheres. The quantity of dissolved solids for inland waters is usually below 1 g/L. The density difference is due to chemical factors is not more than 0.85 g/L. Maximum density of fresh water is at 4 OC and it becomes less dense when the temperature decreases from 4 OC to freezing point. Maximum density of seawater is 0 C. The total amount of dissolved substances in fresh water is less than that in seawater. Evaporation increases the density by concentrating the dissolved materials. The bottom water of deep lakes cannot be any colder than water at its density maximum, or about 4 OC. Seawater freezes at -1.91 OC. Pressure does not cause any significant change in viscosity. Buoyancy is the direct outcome of density. Buoyancy of an object is equal to the weight of the water of displaces. The greater the density, the greater the buoyant force, the denser the water, the floating object will ride higher in the water. Ship passing from fresh water into seawater rises little higher. The principal forms of movements of water are waves, currents, and seiches. Waves are produced by winds. Stenenson, 1934, formulated a formula for computing the maximum height of wave in small bodies of water. H equals 1 over 3 square root of cap F. The water particle moves up and down, but no horizontal movement of water is called as waves of oscillation. Definite forward movement of water is a type of wave called as waves of translation. Wave action may exert an influence to a depth of 182 m. Currents in lakes, vertical, horizontal and returning currents. Oscillations of the water level under certain circumstances are called as seiches. Surface tension of water is 7.28 x 10-3 n/m for pure water at 20 oC. 7.28 x 10-3 n/m equals 72.8 dyne/cm. Organisms related to the surface film are known as neuston. Tropical lakes, surface temperature is always maintained at above 4 oC. Temperate lakes, surface temperature vary above and below 4 oC. Polar lakes, surface temperature is never goes above 4 oC. Water has the greatest specific heat of all substances, except liquid hydrogen and lithium at high temperatures. The specific heat of water is 1. The thermal conductivity of the water is very low. Coefficient of expansion, 1.125. Thermocline layer is called as metalimnion. Dicothermy, summer stratification with minimum temperature at some intervening level. Mesothermy, maximum temperature at some intervening level. Poikilothermy, both maximum and minimum temperature in some intervening layer. Pure water bodies appear nearly black as they absorb all light components of the spectrum. CDOM, colored dissolved organic matter. Degree of opaqueness developed in water by means of suspended water is known as turbidity. The solubility of gases in water decreases with increasing temperature and decrease of pressure. The total solubility of gas is expressed by Henry's law. The concentration of a saturated solution of gas is proportional to the pressure at which the gas is supplied. Henry law, C equals Kp. Carbon dioxide is the second largest decomposition product, constituting 3 to 30% of the total gas evolved. Methane is also called as marsh gas. Methane bacteria are obligate anaerobes. Hydrogen sulfide is poisonous to aerobic organisms because it inactivates the enzyme cytochrome oxidase. Nitrogen has a low solubility in water. Rainwater contains 30 to 40 ppm of dissolved solids. The solubility of solid substances is strongly dependent on pH and redox potential in the water. Carbonate is the principal anion in most fresh waters. Carbonate occurs as bicarbonate ion with calcium in water, calcite and aragonite. Inorganic form of nitrogen is nitrate, nitrite, and ammonia. Free phosphorus does not occur in nature, but in the form of phosphates it is abundant. Soluble inorganic phosphate, orthophosphate and polyphosphate. Silicon does not occur in nature as a free element. Dissolved silica remains as H2SiO4. Anorthite, called 2Si208, is a common member of the feldspar group of silicates. Gypsum, CaSO4.2H2O. Anhydrite, CaSO4. Epsom salt, MgSO4.7H2O. Magnesium carbonate is called as magnetite. The common water-soluble mineral is halite/NaCl. Slatterns having concentration of seawater with preponderance of NaCl. Saline lakes having Na2SO4 in water. Soda lakes characterized by NaHCO3 and Na2CO3, having luxuriant growth of blue-green algae. Molecular chloride is a heavy yellow lethal gas. In oligotrophic lakes, the volume of the hypolimnion is greater than the volume of epilimnion. A rise of 1 oC increases the rate of metabolism about 10%. Excess nitrogen cause gas disease in fishes. Calcium is required by all green plants except some of the lower algae. Food production, Process of energy transformation. Primary production is highly dependent on light energy.